Okay, hi. Here we go. We got Mr. Matthews in the house. Give it up for Mr. Matthews one more time. This is the race, sex, and gender class. Yes. Mr. Matthews, and it deals with the negativities of what's going on in the media, especially mass media. All right, go ahead.
Well, good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure. Thank you for Professor McAllister inviting me. Give him a big hand, everybody. We were talking about, I love the media. Also, too, it's good size, and then it has, it's bad and negative stuff, but let's say it's short, it's no good, it's not good, it's not bad, it's reality. And one thing we talk about the economics. Most of the people at stations, so they want, in a movie, they want the bottom line, because it's like this past weekend, when they come out with a movie, they'll have it out on, like, say, Thursday or Friday, and the weekend counts. Because by Monday or Tuesday, by Monday or Sunday night, they would know who's the #1 movie in the land. And to my knowledge, it wasn't never like that. But everybody wants to go for, like, I think there was someone that I think the Dragons and one, I think Tyler Perry was too. And they measure by the dollar bills. My style on I love radio. I love radio. I love television too. But radio is an example. And they do research. Now you got to write that down. Research.
Take notes.
They do research.
Yes.
Say like you listen to BLS. BLS takes research, and they go out and find out, are you listening to their station?
Right.
This is very important, because if you don't listen to their station and they're not getting enough listeners, it goes off, and they'll switch it to another format. The radio, it's the same with your class here. You have to. In short, it's the bottom line.
Yes.
It's definitely. Do you agree?
Everybody agrees?
Do you agree?
The bottom line?
It's the bottom line.
And the bottom line is what? Cash. Revenues.
Cash, yeah.
Okay.
And like how many listeners, they run these contests. What they do, substations, they run these contests, and you want to see Tyler Perry, you want to see Jaheen in a show. But the reason why they do that at the same time too is that they take your name at a later date and they do research on you, tell you what do you like and what some stations and what you don't like. It's all about it's economics and radio and television too. Because they have during the time they have something called the sweeps. They will when is it? It's February, May, July, September, and November. All these 5 times they have the sweeps because they want. That's why you put these action, like all these action-packed shows and this and that. And they want to bring people in, and so they could charge. If it becomes a hit, they charge, the station come in, they want to charge the advertisers more, they charge the advertisers a little bit more. Now, the whites in their eyes, I remember, I don't know how anybody else is in, but I remember that back in the 50s and the early 60s to a certain extent, there weren't too many of us on TV at all. If you watched television back in those days, you remember those days? No, it's not to be ashamed of because
if they did, they had to.
It's not to be ashamed because they didn't have too many of us on TV, and then when we was on TV, it was like a treat.
They used to have
have white people in blackface.
Yeah.
But, you know, but I'm saying about white people, period, not without the blackface. They didn't want to see
But I'm
it, so,
saying
you know.
that's how you seen blacks
Yes.
on TV, like in King Kong.
And if we were on TV, we were the maids.
Black and white without the black.
But also, too, remember,
get it?
the first all-black cast was Amos and Andy.
Yeah.
Anybody remember that?
Yeah.
Okay, the reason...
Yeah, I heard about it.
I was listening to it this morning, in fact. On the radio, there were whites that portrayed it. Later on, they went to television, where they couldn't have the white guys portray Amos and Andy. But one thing about these guys, they were geniuses in a sense, because they got to people close to how they were portrayed on the radio.
You talking about the producers?
Yeah. Gospel and
Because somebody's got to make the decisions, right?
Yeah, the gospel and chorale.
Okay.
They got people who was close to it. I'll make an example. Amos, they got someone close to Amos. Iris Childs. He was close to Amos.
You mean in real life?
This is real life. They got people who were close to him.
Okay.
I don't know how they did it. They weren't people close to him.
All right.
And then you have a gentleman by the name of Spencer Williams Jr. He was Andy. Now, don't write Andy off, because Andy was a movie producer and a director in real life.
Is that right?
Yes.
Wow.
Spencer Williams.
Who was Amos and Andy?
Yeah. Let
It
me
was
put
a
it.
TV show.
put it within
a radio
context.
show.
Yeah.
It started about 1928.
It was a comedy.
Well, in the beginning, it was a dramatic show. It was like a soap opera,
Okay.
like you watch Empire, the Cookie, it was like, or Dallas. It was. What happened is this: every day at 7 o'clock, everybody stopped everything. Even President Roosevelt, he stopped everything. So he listened to what happened to Amos and Andy. It was like a dramatic show. But these two guys, Amos and Andy, they were the main characters. Everything went on all right until ratings. Remember we talked about the ratings and, what they had to do, they shut it down for a while, and they came back, maybe this is the best thing they did, they came back and made it into a comedy show.
Okay.
Now, it was the main character would be Andy and the Kingfish. The Kingfish was a gypster. Like some of the guys you see out there in the street. he fit in that, Kingfish fit in that category. He fit in that category. Then they scaled down Amos's part. Because they turned to a comedy show, so, Kingfish was doing, and Andy was doing, Kingfish was always scheming. But one thing, they always had a lawyer. I don't know. They had, one of my favorite lawyers was a gentleman by the name, he was very good. I think even Corral's son, Richard, mentioned, he was one of my favorites. I don't think you remember, Johnny Lee.
Okay.
He was the lawyer. I caught Giuliani, in this case with Giuliani, I caught Giuliani Calhoun. Come here, he was just like, listen here. And I never get this episode.
That's like Archie Bunker too.
He was talking about that. You made the connection right. Very good.
He said, listen, Calhoun used to do like this. Listen in, it was a counterfeiting mate, and then he got on Kingfish and Andy said, and Calhoun had him come, he said, and then he said, listen in, and the counterfeit was white guys. He said, listen in, mister, I got my rights and legal. And the guy put a gun and said, and I got this. Well, see you later on, fellas.
Go with the low content nowadays, low quality scripts.
The low quality, those shows, even how crazy they were, the scripts were good scripts.
Okay.
They were very good scripts. I was watching, what's the name? The Rebel the other night. You remember that show with Johnny Umo? Was it? Nick well, anyway, I was watching that. Even Gunsmoke.
I love Gunsmoke.
The scripts were good.
They're very good scripts.
They're very good scripts. But I don't know, I don't take a line from the professor. How we get to where we got today. All this other stuff. Oh my God, I can't watch it. I can't stomach it.
So how did Carmen Jones, Harry Belafonte, Dee Dee and Ozzie Davis,
Okay.
how did they get on the big screen? And you know, and my last and final question, was Bill Cosby and I Spy the first black man to get in a primetime shot before Nat King Cole?
No, Nat King Cole was first. Now, unfortunately, Nat King Cole had a good show. It was a nice show. Well, it was well put together and everything else of it. But the problem was that we go back to, it was the South. The South would not carry that show. That's why Nat King Cole's off the air.
Wow.
Now, coming around to Dr. Huxtable or Bill Cosby with I Spy, Shelton then wanted him for the show. And they fought NBC on it too. They wanted him. And it paid off because he did in his own way, paved the way for blacks to be on TV and with serious parts.
And what's her name? Diane Carroll. She
did Julia in '68. Julia in '68.
Yeah.
You know, she got a lot of protesters from people, you know, but she was the first. You know, she was one of the first black women have a show. You know.
Why did they take the Richard Pryor show off?
Because of censorship.
Oh yeah, it was controversial.
He was very controversial.
What about Flip Wilson? He was the first.
No, when he got tired, before he got tired of it, that was it.
He was the first man on TV in the drugs.
Really?
But
He did Geraldine.
He did Geraldine.
That's right.
And he used to have a lot of people on the show. He had a lot of guests on the show.
He was good at it too.
He was good. He had Sullivan. He had this one. He had a whole bunch of people on the show.
Yeah.
Ed Sullivan would have, you know, when you was on Ed Sullivan's show, you had made it big, like the Jackson 5,
Yep.
Diana
That's
Ross
right.
on there, Temptations.
But he liked the Supreme.
Very good.
He kept him on. Yeah.
That was a favorite group. He looked like Tricky Dick. Didn't he look like Nixon?
And Sammy Davis Jr. too.
Yeah.
Sammy Davis had a show too. He had a show one time too. He had a show.
They say that he was an Uncle Tom. But here's the thing about Uncle Tom, if we didn't have any, we wouldn't have persevered to where we are today. We needed those people who pioneer. Plus, you got to remember Jim Crow, the South.
Yes.
Sammy Davis Jr., that was the way he was taught to grow up. Yes, kiss butt. Because nowadays it's a cop killing us. Before it was a Klan, they run up in our house and lynch us. That's what you had to worry about your children with.
Well, let's go on. Well, thank you for that thought. Let's go on because we're on the clock. I do what I got to do television, you know, on the clock. On the clock. Rush Limbaugh to Donald Trump. Now, whoever heard of Rush Limbaugh, you heard of Rush Limbaugh. He comes on every. I listen to him sometimes. I listen to him. I'm like, yeah, because you got to know what the enemy's doing.
That's right.
You got to know what the enemy's doing. You can't sit back here and think. That's why some of us sleep at the switch because they don't know what the enemy's doing. And one thing about him, he made conservative talk radio the way it is today. Because at one time, when they had the AM stations, it was fading out because they used to have to play top 40 music. The AM and the FM started getting the music. And 12 o'clock noon, someone came, to make a long story short, the gentleman who helped Rush Limbaugh, he worked for ABC. ABC, I think they sold the radio division. And so they told the guy, he was a big top executive, he said, well look, only we got like 2 hours for satellite time. And he went out there and he got Rush Limbaugh. He went out and got him. He was tested out he went to Sacramento. But one thing I admire about him, this, you know, love him or hate him, and this is talk about life in general. This man was fired 13 times.
Damn.
I mean, every
opinion.
Yeah, he got fired 13. No, love him or hate him. Well, how many people would sit back up here and say, well, you know, that's it? He went on. He kept going on. I have to give him credit for that. He went on. How many people would sit back and, you know, well, hell, I don't want to do it no more. And he didn't do that. They also, too, he gave people something that they weren't. All the other stations was just sitting back here talking talking to the person on the phone. What he gave them, and you got to be like, you know, I do show you marketing, very important, and take notes on marketing. You got to be. I was just reading this book a few minutes ago. Reading the book. You have to be different from everybody else. Write that down.
That's right.
Marketing. You got to be different from everybody else. You can't be the same old, same old. You can't, what make you different? It's like a fella calling a girl. Like, I have a friend, a lady friend, and every week, she likes the coupons in the newspaper. So every Sunday I go out and get the newspaper and get the coupons to her. To make it different from anybody else.
Right.
You still with her?
Yeah.
She like put them coupons, she know how to get to you.
Well, she like the coupons, yeah. But you had to be
You like to make her happy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow, that's the key. Yeah.
Nowadays, you don't even have to put the coupons. You can go to Groupon and get the coupons.
Yeah, well, she does that too. She put me up basketball games.
They good price too.
Yeah, she had a very good price. The tickets, the tickets we went to see, that was about $100-some odd. And I didn't ask her. I said, well, how did she get it for you? I never asked her. None of my business.
Yeah, that's right.
None of my business. Talk about Rush Limbaugh. He big endorser of Donald Trump. In fact, Donald Trump had him up there one night, and I think it was one of the tours that, I call him Howdy Doody, and Pence is Clarabelle, and he had a peanut gallery, and people did cheer for him, and he had Rush Limbaugh there, play golf with him and everything. He played golf with Tiger Woods too, the Donald. Well, anyway, in this country, especially with the talk radio, they sit back and more of the white male is the king. Dominant. He's dominant. They're so-called dominant. And what can I say? They claim they're dominant, but they mess up everything. That's why the North Korean guy send the Donald home. There was no.
I think they need to send his wife home. She's an immigrant. He was screaming about him. Lady, can he speak English? Throw her over the wall.
Here we go.
This gentleman, image culture, advertising, popular culture. This picture of this guy, Ronald McDonald. Interesting story. Every state, I was telling the professor upstairs, I said, Major World, the car company, they would sell it differently on BLS, and I listen to BLS, and then they'll sell it on CBS AM. They'll sell it, it's different because you go into a different crowd.
Audience, right? See, they're getting the turn.
And Ronald McDonald, the first Ronald McDonald clown was Willis Scott.
Who's that?
The one from the Today Show.
Okay.
Yeah, the weatherman on Today Show. That's before Al Roker,
You see that?
It's no time.
What?
That's what makes me different. I just proved
Yeah.
point because I'm controversial.
Right.
I'll say things that other people won't say.
That's right.
Think it.
That's
but
right.
They won't say it.
That's right.
So that proves his point.
That's it.
Oh, gosh, okay.
Right. Go ahead, Lenny.
I love you back.
So who are some of the characters in that picture?
Well, you had
Point to them. Let's see what you got. Show them.
You have Ronald McDonald here.
Yeah.
And think about, remember Jeffrey the giraffe? I won't be born to us, kid.
I missed that.
Yeah, but it's coming back. It's coming back.
Oh.
Point to another one. Who else you
I used to
recognize?
just go in, what's that one that was on Fifth Avenue? Schwartz. I used to go in there. My
Yeah, I
father,
think they brought that. They bringing that back too. Because other people that they go on, the other people buy it.
yeah, because I was 6 the first time I went there. They didn't have that big, that thing you play the piano. They didn't have all that when I went.
But the media is based on radio and TV. Is based on advertising.
Right.
Because you don't have no advertising. That's like you listen to Silas Radio and they say it's commercial free. Because who's paying for that? The subscribers are paying for that. Even they have 2 listeners, but the subscribers, paying for Silas Radio. But the advertisers, sometimes they take, like they say, well, shot in the dark. So I think one of the makers said, well, you don't know. You said the other half, I don't know where it's going to. But when you remember this show?
Oh yeah. Yes. That's the big
Yeah.
He is something
Had
else.
Hazel up there. Remember that?
I remember Hazel.
The flying nun.
But the professor I was talking, I was telling about, like, TV situation comedy keep recreating the black working class as buffoons for decades. And sometimes you look at, in some cases, yes, in some cases, no. Because like the father, he was a dominant gentleman, he in the household, he told June what goes, and that's it. And he would come down on the beat with something, come on the beat and Wally,
There was always a moral to the story.
There's a moral. See, that's
Every
what
That's what
script.
I like about the shows back then. You definitely
Yeah.
had a moral to the story.
That's right. Every single
What
episode.
about R&B? Remember R&B? The white lady that had the hair, the big butt.
Andy Griffin.
That's right. Right.
It had the
Yeah.
They had a moral. They had a
That's
moral.
always,
The funny thing about
always.
Andy Griffin, they mentioned that Don Knotts won. The years that he was on that show, he won 5 Emmys,
Is that right?
and he only won 1.
Wow.
Andy Griffin didn't win none.
Wait a minute. What is it? His acting ability? It was like.
No, because they maybe someone said maybe he made it too natural.
Oh wow.
It's strange. It's strange.
What's his name? Don Knotts was popular because he was stupid, right?
He made you laugh.
He made you laugh. Yeah.
He made you laugh.
Yeah.
And then also too, like in a situation of like, the cast, you had Ernest T. Bass, you had Otis the drunk, let himself into jail.
Right. That's a good one.
And one of my favorite Andy Griffin episodes, they had many. One of my favorite one is that with Gomer Powell. He was driving, Eddie and Barney had to work on something, so Thelma Lou had to go to the dentist or someplace. So he said, hey, go about it. But I'll take you, Thelma Lou. So he said, all right. And he said, well, you should be worried about a guy, a handsome guy like Goldman. Don't worry. I got it right here in my hip pocket. But it's a moral to that because you don't never have nobody in your hip pocket.
Right.
And she came back, when he came back, and he said, oh yeah, she gave me flapjacks and meal and fed me and everything like that. And Bonnie said, well damn, she never fed me. And she would teach us a lesson.
Little Rascal.
Oh boy. Now you're going back. We didn't even think about that.
Oh, I love the Rascal. Still to this day.
Also, too, with David B, we were talking about Dennis the Menace.
I loved him too.
He had that slingshot in his back pocket, right?
Yeah, and Mr. Wilson.
Oh my! I'm gonna tell you about that show. I love the show. I always love that show. But when he passed away, there was something about it. It was
Wow.
Mr. Wilson?
Yeah, Joe, he passed away.
Is that right?
He was trying to lose weight or something. He took some medicine, and he just saw he had a heart attack and that was it. Wow. And then Gail Gordon would replace him. Well, his brother. But to me, it wasn't the same. It wasn't the same.
Was it My Favorite Martian or Genie?
Yeah.
Bewitched.
Yeah, I like Bewitched too. But also too,
Uncle Arthur.
Also too, we were talking about Good Times. Now we show you about images. Images. Because the father was the head of the household. Now maybe he didn't have a gate all the time, or he get these little pickup jobs, but he was the head of the household. And when he had some kind of dispute with the producers, well, they just kill him off, and I guess the show wasn't really the same after that because that strong male image, black man image, was no longer there.
But I think Jimmy Walker, he's still, every time I look at him, I see him saying dynamite.
Yeah.
He still has that look on his face. It's like it's frozen on him.
Yeah.
You know how some people get a character on them and they can't
But
break away from
they
that.
never get rid of him.
Can't break away from it.
But we ran into Bernadette in the book signing, right?
In the
A sister,
book signing.
yeah.
Look good.
Yeah, she writes. Yeah, she writes books now. Relationships.
Yeah, I heard
Yeah.
her on Lenny Green one night.
Yeah.
And we saw her in person. She was up at Sisters one day.
Yeah.
And she was
What's sister?
Sisters Uptown Bookstore.
Yeah, that's where we shoot. Yeah, on 150. That's 156 in Amsterdam. Yeah, we got to shoot on March 16th. Yeah, she just invited herself. You see how bold she is? I mean, you on?
But I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna tell you in advance. Is that we on the clock and we can't. We just gonna have to. We gonna have to forget about you. Have to roll on. It's nothing personal against you, but we have to keep rolling. We had, have to keep it rolling on. Okay. I just want you to know that in advance. Don't say, well, no, you can't get long-winded there because they got us on the clock. They got us on the clock, and we got to be in at a certain time, and we got to be out at a certain time.
You see that?
Right.
That's a television business.
How about the Jeffersons?
The Jeffersons.
Come on, talk about it. Moving on up.
To the east side. Now, I love
Yeah.
the funny thing, all these people who are involved, but the only ones that still, to my knowledge, still around is Marla Gibbs is still around. Also too, Jenny and probably the second Lionel, because the first Lionel passed away.
Wow.
And Mr. Bentley, I think my son saw Mr. Bentley one time. And Ralph the doorman. That was a
dum-dum.
I love him though.
Yeah.
I love him though. He was good.
So what was the premise behind this, though?
Well, this is all about a guy.
In terms of race.
Well, here's a guy that made it. Honestly, he made it. And he's gonna move to the east side.
Left Archie behind, huh? Right?
Yeah, but it's racist, but
Yeah.
No, we're gonna talk about him in a minute.
The two of them.
No, let me talk about him in a minute. But the Jeffersons. But also too, we're talking about good writing. There was still a moral behind the story with Jefferson.
Yes.
But also too, one thing I liked about him, and a lot of brothers and sisters don't do this at times. Some of them don't do this at times. When they hit something, he still have all this stuff. He still, Mr. wheeling and dealing, but he don't forget his roots.
Right. You talking about Mr. Jefferson? Oh. He didn't forget his. He didn't forget his roots. How's that? How you forget his roots? How's that?
Well, some people forget about the roots. Period.
Wow.
what he means is that he still was as ghetto as he was. He never changed who he was.
Right.
He still was a racist.
Yeah, right. Okay.
He danced though.
Yeah.